Would you agree that you're looking for a business that allow you to do less and make more? So in this video, we're going to show you exactly that. We're going to show you how I create an engine that allow me to work less than 5 hours a day and have the rest of the time with my family. And because at the end of the day, that's what you signed up for. When you say you're starting a business, you started a business so you can actually do less. Now, I know every time you open the phone, an app where whether you're on Instagram or YouTube, there's other things or marketers are telling you to do more. You just need to send out that email. You just need to do that podcast. You just need to do that YouTube channel. You need to do all of this. But I want to show you how you can take a simple system that you can adapt, and that should be the system that gets you more clients than you trying to be all over the place. Hey, it's your girl Sherry Summer Bell. Welcome to my channel. Before we get in, make sure that you subscribe, comment below, whatever it takes for us to grow our channel, because we love to bring you value. Now, where did this information stem from? It stemmed from the idea, um, and I've said it over and over in most of my videos, where I had surgery and I was down between 6 to 8 weeks. And that is where I adapt this do less, make more mythology from, because I saw it happening in my business. I I realized the bigger I was growing my revenue, the more I would add more things, more work. And when I say add more work, even if I was hiring someone to take that heavy weight off of me, I still have to oversee that person. So there go that job, right? So the more money I was making is the more I would try to hire out, but then somebody has to watch that. And even if somebody said, well, you need to get a CFO, or you need to get all these other people, somebody has to watch all those people. Not watch, but somebody has to supervise and make sure. So I was like, is it really about being bigger, or is it really about freedom? So I started saying to myself, I need to figure out what that looked like for my life, and is it possible to do less and make more? And when I watch myself making sales, I literally, right before my hysterectomy, recorded a buyer ready messaging matrix. It is a digital product, and I recorded that video right before I went into surgery. And I shot a couple of videos in between my surgery to market that video, and it just took off, made 100 and plus sales while I was recovering from surgery. And I said to myself that, I will open my app, my phone, and there were sales that was coming in while I was going through the pain of recovering from a hysterectomy. And I would watch not just the sale, but I would watch the buyers ascend into a higher tier offer that I have, from a $17 product, from a $27 product, and they would just ascend. And I was like, huh. And I'm in the bed in pain. And that was where the idea kind of stemmed from, of this doing less, because prior to that, I was launching live, like showing up with my energy. Like, in other words, if I don't show up, then sales is not made. So every month I would show up live, do this live launch. And it definitely was a big cash injection in my business. But the price I paid to have it doesn't negate the cost of it. So, but I watch how I created this thing once, and it consistently generates sales over and over, and people self-select, buyers, high achieving women self-select, these experts self-select themselves into my ecosystem. And I didn't have to do a sales call, I didn't have to do a launch. And this was where the idea of doing less and making more was birthed, because then I would see my Stripe account money coming in, and with me doing less. So once I got a taste of what that looked like, I adapt that notion like, I love this. I don't think I want to go back to using my physical energy to make money anymore. I don't want my sales have to depend on me. I like the ability of creating something once, creating that valuable asset once, and then the rest of my time is spent driving sales to that thing. And that changed the game. That was like the game changer for me because it gave me back more time and more freedom. It allowed me to go get the nails done on a Tuesday at 10:30. It really shifts the dynamic of how I look at my business and how I want my business to be structured. So let's kind of walk you through what I mean by that right now, because I want that for you as well. So if that's something that you want for your business, you want to be able to do less and but make more, let's walk you through that. But before we do, let's talk about why doing less is makes sense, right? Why doing less makes sense. One of the main things that I'm known for is being able to create that sell one to many strategy. I literally create a whole book just on selling one to many. Wrote a whole book on that. But the idea here is I always believe that figuring out how you can say something or do something once and that one thing get impacted by more people all at once. Now, I enhance that by building something once, putting it out there in the world without me, and then that thing is at play while I'm here talking to you right now. And that is amazing. So I'm gonna what and I want that for you. I want that for you to be able, because we're in a space right now where we said we're in a trust recession, and I'm going to show you how to overcome that trust recession. But the main concept of what I want to walk you through, I'm going to get my iPad ready. The whole goal of what I want you to understand here, after the shift of my hysterectomy, I knew that I did not want to go back to making money with my energy. After I realized that I can create a low ticket offer and allow clients to self select, those buyers to self select and go into my other offer, and I didn't have to physically keep launching to do it, or getting on a sales call constantly to do that. When I realized I didn't have to do that, that was a game changer for me. So no launching, no sales call. People self select, the ideal person self select. So let me walk you through my mind and my concept of what the power of doing less and making more, what that looked like for me. So I'm going to bring up my iPad here. Now, when we talk about doing less and making more, the first thing I had to really come to my realization, it says, what does that look like for me? Like what does that look like? So for me, it was, do I have a offer? That's number one. You need an offer. And that offer has to be able to solve a problem. Now, not a huge problem, a hyper specific problem, right? So we want it is one offer. You have to be able to have that one offer that solve a hyper specific problem. So that's so you have to be able to, and this, so now what is that one problem that your offer will solve? That's the first thing. What is that one problem that your offer will solve? So now that you have the one offer, you have the one problem. You see the pattern there. Now you got to offer. Now you got a problem. Now the offer could be like a mini course. And I always talk about doing a mini course, just because a mini course opposed to like a PDF, people get to see you when you created that mini course, because this is your low ticket offer, right? So now that you have this low ticket offer, and now that you have the one problem that you solve, now the next thing you got to really think about is, okay, now I have this thing. What traffic source am I going to use to drive people to my offer? So, one offer that solves a problem, one problem. Now, what is a traffic source that I'm going to use to drive people to this offer? So that's the first thing. That's the thing you really need to think about. Now, when we talk about traffic source, we're talking about where are they going to go? Like that sales page, because once they come to are interested in your thing, how are you going to drive them there? What's going to be your thing that they can come to your sales page or your lead page to be able to say yes to whatever your offer is. Now, when you talk about a traffic source, I'll get back into that in a second. But when you talk about a traffic source, now that you have the traffic source, you're like, okay, well, where am I going to convert them? So, what is the conversion tool that I'm going to use to convert them, right? So, conversion tool could maybe a masterclass, a challenge, and some type of event, or conversion tools could be your email list. So, you could have your conversion tool is just a place that they go to, like a masterclass, challenge. There's so much to choose from, but we're talking about one. Keyword here is one. We're talking about just one. Make sure that is one. So you have your traffic source, one conversion tool, and number 5, we want to do that for 1 year. I got this. Shout out to Tacky Moore. This was one of his mythology when it comes to power. I call it the power of one. But now that you have that, let's break that down of what that looks like. Let's break that down into the space, because once you realize the engine, the system that helps you to focus, follow one course until successful. The purpose of doing this is to help you to stay focused. So let's talk about what that looks like. Right? Let's talk about what that looks like. Now, I want to get back to traffic source a little bit, because that's where people don't get hang up about the offer. More than likely they know what they're going to sell, right? People don't get hang up about the problem, because they know what they're they know the problem that they know the solution that their problem solve. They know the they know that the offer solves their problem. So now what they get hang up about is the traffic. And the conversion. Now, the reason I said that is because when you're thinking about driving that traffic, when you're thinking about driving people to whatever that offer is, when you're thinking about doing that, and you're thinking about, this is the one thing I'm going to do for a year, because this is your traffic source, right? Okay. Here's where people get hang up, and I'm showing you so you don't have to get hang up already. More than likely, you have your offer check. You already know what problem your offer solves. So boom, you have that. Here is a culprit. The culprit is right here, the traffic source. So your traffic source is determined by where you are in your life and business. Now, let's say you have revenue to continue have cash flow. Let's say you have money to where you're like, okay, I have cash flow, I have disposable income. If that's the case, your traffic source could be ads, right? So you have money to where you can test ads to see if it work for you. when you're running your low ticket offer. So you're running a low ticket offer, and you're running it to ads, right? Now, if you're saying, Sherry, but I don't have the money for ads, I don't have the money, that's not. So you may have your traffic source may be your podcast. Right? You can set up a podcast for free. Your traffic source may be your YouTube channel. So whatever you choose based on where you are in your space, but you need that ascension conversion. You need that place that you're driving the traffic from so they can see your conversion. Now, what usually happen here is the problems people have here is because they're sometimes choose so many different things. They're doing ads, they're doing podcasts, doing YouTube, and it's just too much for them to handle. Now, I must say, I have all of this going myself, so I like to be transparent with that. But when I put up, my only commitment is my YouTube channel. That's my main source. My podcast is kind of like when I have in the mood to say something and I'm not on my YouTube channel. I don't have to wait on my YouTube, but the main thing what I focus on is just my YouTube. So I'm not committed to my podcast, but I'm not committed to ads. I'm not committed to podcasts, but I'm committed to YouTube, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. The reason why I'm committed to YouTube is just the fact that I believe my biggest thing is whatever the traffic source that I choose to do, I want something where my content will last. So I don't want, oh, and some people here will do IG. I don't know how I forgot that. IG or Facebook or whatever. So they got all this going on. I know why I forgot, because if you're doing ads, most of the time they're doing it on IG. So I want a place where the content can live on. The content can keep going. So out of all of this stuff that I just chose, the ads, once you stop running the ads stop. Once you stop running the podcast, or if you don't show up for the podcast, I'm sorry, back up. The podcast is a different story because the podcast lived on, and then but the IG, it stops. Like, you got to keep feeding the beast. Now, podcasts on YouTube, these two bad boys here, they will keep going. They're an asset that just keep on living. So that's why for me right here, like, this is a maybe for me. And this is a maybe for me. Like, there's no way I'm showing up posting 3 times a day. Not doing it. I got better things to do with my life. Now, the podcast is so easy because I do it with my phone. I may be driving, and I'm not really committed to say, I got to put something out today. So I'm not committed to that. But I love it because sometimes God can give me downloads and I don't have to get on a camera. I can just do it for it. But for the idea of this video, my goal is for you to see the different traffic source and pick one that works for you and where you are right now. Now, is as faster as is very faster. But what I learned in selling 100+ digital products in less than 30 days, once that you stop spending on ads, that's it. That's it. That's it. So you need something that still feed the beast, even if you're not running ads. But whatever that thing is, the whole goal, it has to be one of this source that you're gonna one of the sources you're gonna really commit to your platform to, because if you don't, what happened is now you're all over the place. You have to figure out what is that one source that you're committed to do. You have to activate one visibility channel. Like, you have to activate that visibility channel. So we teach this inside of a system that we have. We have a rapid ascension engine that we teach all of this in. And once you have that system, once you really, really work on having that system, you just choose one. I want to really hone in on this one thing here. Like, what is that one thing that you're going to dedicate to showing up to? Because in the last video that I did, I talk about when you choose that one system, it compounds. It just keep coming compounding for you. And that's why ours is YouTube, because that will just keep going. And even I heard Apple now, Apple is having like where you can do visual podcasts, right? Like they're doing video podcasting. So that may be, but for each person, it's going to be a different thing. So it's not like a one size fit all, but you really have to choose and activate one visible channel. This one visible channel, let me go back here, is where you're activating one visible channel. So, and that one visible channel allow you to have your asset. So this is asset. So I had to ask myself to be wise. If I really want to work less, what is that? What is that one act? How do I activate one visible channel that is going to compound and make me sales even when I'm sleeping? Sales while I sleep. And because for me, ads, it's you have to keep feeding that beast. And it's great. You have to keep feeding the beast, and it's great. But it's not a must for me, my business, because that's not what I'm committed to. Now, because I chose that my location is going to be YouTube, if I have free time, I can quickly put up an ad, which is what we did. Like what because this system, this power of one system that I'm showing you, one offer, one problem, one traffic source, one conversion, 1 year. I was like, oh, okay, I got time to do this. Let me throw this up here. So I'm not feeling like a feast or famine. It's just it complements what I already have going on. But if I want you to think of the one location. Another one, I don't know how, okay, and I'm slacking now. Facebook group is another one that's also Facebook school. Look at me. I'm just fine. Okay, so you have to activate that one visible channel. That's what you're doing. What does that look like for you? And podcast wasn't as visible, like the person couldn't physically see you, so that's why we didn't do that one. And but then once you activate what that one visible channel that you're going to commit to, then you're going to say, okay, well, what am I going to have that move them down to my conversion? I'm going to create content on that traffic to move people to that traffic, but what is that in the conversion space? Now we're talking about conversion. How am I going to convert them? How am I going to host a masterclass every week, a challenge every month? How am I going to do that? Notice I'm not telling you what to do. I'm giving you your options. Or are you just going to um are you just going to let them self-select, which is what we do in our business. We have something where we let them self-select for themselves. And so you have to decide based on your time, your energy, what that looks like for you. But whatever is where's that conversion is going to happen, where they do that micro commitment, where's that conversion is going to happen. And when you learn that, when you learn this is where you optimize for that conversion. And when I look at everything I just wrote down, we have something where we get them to self select, and we all of this happened for us in our email. All of it. Listen, I have done all of this stuff. I have done the master classes weekly. I've done the challenges monthly, and I now I'm in the email space where like, okay, this just happened for us in email. So you're converting them where. Now I can tell you. So therefore, because I've done it, I can tell you with beyond a shadow of doubt that for me, based on energy consumption, email email works better for me out of all the things I just said. So out of all the things I just said, the email space is what works the best for me, because if we're going through this mythology right here, if we're following this engine, the whole goal right here is to say which one of this will give me more time and don't allow me to always have to be physically on. So if we are breaking this down, what we are breaking down is, and we're doing it for 1 year. So we have our offer. So now that we kind of clear things up, we have our offer, which is a low ticket item, solving one problem, one specific problem. And then we have our traffic source, which will be YouTube, because that's the most, that is where we are activating our visibility channel, right? That's a visibility channel, and that asset keeps living on no matter what. That's the power. It will keep show up no matter what. All the other places that I mentioned, they are temporary, but even with the podcast, they still can't physically see you. And we want to activate a visible channel, because in that visibility channel, that's where the trust is built. Built. Jesus. That's where the trust is built. Okay. Whew, that was a lot. That's where the trust is built, right? So then we're saying the the conversion, because the trust is built and they move into your system, move into your email system, right? The conversion happens on your email. You see that? The conversion happened in your email system. So they're coming, getting your low ticket offer that solves a problem. How they doing it? You're converting them inside of your YouTube, and then from your YouTube, you're driving traffic to your YouTube, from your YouTube to your email list. Beautiful. And you're doing this for 1 year. Why are you doing that? Because time is going to pass no matter what, right? Somebody said that. I think Ashton said that, and I was like, that's awesome. Now, why you're low ticket is because you want something that creates buyers and not just giving away a freebie. Because when you do a low ticket, when your offer is like a low ticket, they get to come into your world. They get to see you. They get to come into your world and kind of see what it's like to hang out with you. Because the whole goal is, once that person come into your world, so that buyer, once that buyer come in, the goal is for that buyer to ascend, is to self-select and ascend into whatever your higher offer is, your next offer is. So it's a win-win for you, because people pay attention. So it's a win-win for you. You're getting a buyer in the front, right? That's why I love low ticket. So the conversation is different when people are buying. Now, even if it's a $17 or $5 product, their conversation is different. And then that buyer now get to pay attention to wherever your traffic source is. In this case, I just said YouTube. And and you can send your buyer via email to your source. So they get to see and hang out along with what they purchase from you. They also get to see you, that you're a real person. And as they watch your video over time, trust is built. And we can also have the YouTube. It can go back and forth too. So trust is being built, low tickets being sold, trust is being built, low tickets being sold. They're coming to your YouTube channel, they're going to your low ticket offer, coming to your YouTube channel, they're going to your low ticket offer. You see what I'm saying? It's back and forth, right? Your buyer, because when we ran ads, our buyer went to our YouTube channel. It just ironically, I don't know how, I realized that every time they just find me. Like, they just find me. It's crazy. But do you see how the whole scenario is built to the whole scenario that I just explained is built to build the big word of what we're talking about right here, trust. And when people trust you, they ascend into your next offer. They ascend up into your next offer. So if you follow this engine, if you follow this engine for 1 year, so you wake up, you already have your offer, it's already built, you already know the problem you're solving, and you just commit. So which, when you build your offer that you build one time, so every week, this is the only thing you're working on right here, is creating content for that one thing that's going to drive traffic. Oh, that was good, Sherry. Yeah, this is all you're working on. That's the only thing that gets your attention. Because that's the only thing that's going to drive. Is the goal is to simplify your life, so you're not chasing your the anxiety around making money is not driving you nuts. That you're just creating that scarcity mentality. You create your offer, drive traffic to it. So every day you wake up, or whenever the amount of time you want to do your video, once a week, this is all you're focused on, is the YouTube. Because the email can be done with automation, right? Low ticket is already done with automation, right? That's like a CRM and all this stuff. This is already done. So technically, since everything is already automated, the only thing that you have to really focus on is your YouTube channel. Is to drive traffic there. That's it. And that's how you do less and get pay more. Now, if you have any questions about how to do this or anything that I missed, let me know. Just go ahead and comment below and I'll be happy to help you out.